welcome back to the Wake Man channel. All right, time to do a project I've been wanting to do on this boat for quite some time. So some of my longtime subscribers would know that I picked up this 2022 Nachi G23. I think it was in October of 2021. And I've used it for the 2022 season, the 2023 season, and now I'm going to use it for the 2024 season. It was a weird scenario to order this boat because I actually went in the fall of 2020 wanting to order a 2021 G23. They were already out of all their slots. So I basically had to kind of submit an order for 2021, but it was for a 2022 boat and then wait. And then I ended up getting a 2019 G23 to use for the 2021 season. But then got to like, I think it was June or July of 2022, you know, and the new 2022 G23 kind of came out. The new features were coming out, and there were two big new features. One was this tower, the telescoping tower, which was a Paragon sort of design. It's not exactly like the Paragon tower because the Paragon tower is a 3-tier and this is only a 2-tier. But there was that option that came out, and then there was also the supplemental ballast that came out, which the supplemental ballast is, without that you would have a center tank up there and you'd have 2 rear tanks and they're below the floor. But the supplemental ballast is ahead of these tanks in the back, this space right here under the floor. In fact, you know, if I open this up, there's a little hatch down there that you can get to it. And it goes from about like here all the way up to about the, I don't know, end of the driver's seat on both sides. And that was a little space, like kind of Easter egg that they did on the Paragon. There was just that extra ballast space. So it was there on the 2021 G23, but they didn't have the option to actually have the upgraded ballast to put there until the 2022 G23. So that being said, my dealer, when it got to the point where it was like the last chance to submit any features or, you know, colors or whatever for the boat, which I had already picked out, he reached out to me and he said, hey, there's the new tower. Do you want to add that? And then there's the new supplemental ballast. Do you want to add that? The tower was like a $5,000 upgrade from, because I was already doing the power tower that folded down. So it was about a $5,000 upgrade from there. If you were going to do the power tower with the upgraded speakers and the bimini, then it was only $5,000 from there to go to this type of tower. And then it was like another $3,500 or $3,000 to do the supplemental ballast. I was already pushing my budget. I was already probably just beyond my budget before adding those two things. So I went ahead and I said, I gotta have that tower. I love that tower. Ever since the Paragon came out, the tower is probably the coolest thing about it. So I was like, I gotta have that tower. That's a awesome feature. So I just went ahead and did it. I was definitely over budget at that point. And then I decided, now I really did want the supplemental ballast, but I decided, hey, that's something I can add after the fact. And I even talked to my dealer and said, hey, you know, what would it cost to add it after? And he said it would be the same price. So I was like, okay, I'll just hold off on that and I'll do it at a later time. And then get down the road, and you know, I've gone 2 seasons, haven't added it. And what I've done is I opened up those little hatches that you'll see here in a little bit, and I put my steel shot bags in. I think I put 8 bags on each side, which would be like, what is that, 400 pounds? Maybe I put more in there. I think I put 800 pounds or something like that. We'll count them. I'm going to take them out today. It's one of the things I'm going to do today. But I put a bunch in that empty space in there. So it's been fine. It's been great. Probably the only downside to that is the fact that I'm carrying that extra weight around on the trailer, which I have 1,300 pounds of steel shot in here. And I started out with 1,500, but I decided I didn't really need the extra 200, so I took it out to save a little weight on the trailer. So a big reason for me wanting to do the ballast upgrade is to get that weight off the trailer. So I went ahead and I decided to purchase an upgrade option. I made a video, I think it was in 2022, beginning of 2022, because I have a friend, Baker Brew, which he did some posts about it in the Nautique group on Facebook. But I had a friend that he has a 22, I think his Paragon is either 2020 or 2021. And he wanted to have that extra ballast, even though the Paragon was not doing that because they have extra weight just from the weight of the boat. But he wanted to do that. So he actually went and bought all the parts to upgrade his ballast system with the supplemental ballast on his Paragon. And he did it all himself. And it was a lot of work. He sent me pictures and everything. And I made a video out of kind of what he sent me and the information he shared with me. Because that's kind of what I was intending to do. But then that summer, Swell Wake Surf, or I think that's what it's called, swellwake.com or something like that. I'll put it up on the screen. And I don't have a partnership with them or anything, but they came out with basically a factory upgrade for 2021 G23s that did not have the option for the ballast upgrade. They had the space, but they didn't have the option to upgrade to it. And that was basically a scenario where they would just utilize the same system you have today, and it would just replace the bags that are under the floor over here, and then put in a bag that goes all the way from the back all the way up to the front. And those bags, I think I want to say it's like 3,900 pounds, so I think it's 1,950, so 1,950 pounds per bag. So that ends up being 3,900 pounds, if I'm doing my math right, 3,900 pounds just for the left and right. And I know I don't know how many pounds is in the front center tank, but I know if you were to get a 2022 G23 with a supplemental ballast, the total ballast would be 3,650 pounds. So just by doing Swell's upgrade, you're going to have, that's like 250 more pounds just with the left and right, not counting the front. So that means we're probably sitting around, I'm guessing that's either a 500, maybe 500 to an 800 pound tank in the center. So let's just say it's 500. That would take us to like 4,400 pounds, which is, that's like 800 pounds, 750 pounds over what the factory amount of ballast you could put in the boat is. There's a couple reasons why I decided to go with the Swell factory upgrade instead of just getting all the parts like Baker Brew did, getting all the parts and the extra pumps, and doing the kind of factory install for the ballast upgrade, the supplemental ballast upgrade. One big reason is because the amount of work Baker had to do to get that factory upgrade in place, the extra pumps, he had to do some drilling, and just he had to, this cavity right here, there's not really a way to get to the front of it without crawling in there, and it's a tiny space. This one over here has a panel that I'll probably show you that you can get to the front of it. So that made it super hard to do an extra vent line. And then, some of the drilling Baker had to do is some of the scariest drilling you'll do on your boat. He had to drill through the outside of the boat to put an extra vent hole on each side. And that's very doable. You can just be careful about it, but it's just one of those things that's nerve-wracking. So that's one reason. A lot of work, a lot of meticulous work to do that. The other thing is your stock ballast, where the pumps are, they have valves, and there are cables that go to those valves that open and close them. So when they're being used, it opens it up. When they're not being used, it shuts it. So that way you're not taking on or losing water while you're not pumping your ballast. There's not really a way out there unless you were to do it. I mean, there is a way, but it's just expensive and hard to do. Well, I should say more so. It's not all that expensive, but it's hard to do to get the new sort of system to do the extra 2 cables you would need. So what Baker did is he just left that out. So there's not valves on his to open and close the pump, or right before the pump, for those extra 2 bags that he put in. So basically he could potentially take on a little extra water while he's driving, or lose a little bit of his ballast when he wants that ballast. But I think what he told me after he did his, he didn't really notice much. So apparently it worked out. It's not that big of a deal. But anyways, those are some of the reasons why I didn't go with that one. And you know, I would definitely rather have the 2 extra pumps and be able to control those separately. But I just decided it wasn't worth the headache this particular time. Another reason, and probably obvious reason that I just kind of described, that I decided to go with the swell setup is because it's extra ballast. I may not need any of the steel shot, which in the scenario that I was going to do the factory upgrade, I was going to keep probably 500 pounds of steel shot on the boat. And I keep saying steel shot. It's actually steel shot weight in those bags. That's what all the bags use that are not water weight. They call it lead bags, but they're not actually lead. At one point in time they were lead. It's actually steel shot. So that's why I say steel shot. But anyways, so I may have a scenario. I may be able to just only have water weight on here. Which I'll probably still have at least one steel shot bag because I like to have it under the driver's seat to maneuver it around and just do that extra little touch of cleaning up the wake. And I may even have up to a couple 100 pounds on the port side because with Nautique you generally need an extra couple 100 pounds on the port side to make the wake level, to make the boat level, basically, as far as producing a wakeboard wake. But I'll check all that out. But I think in the end, I may not need any steel shot weight, and I can just dial in the water weight. The one thing I'm not sure about, because I know that there are settings I know there's settings on the screen where I can reset the ballast so that it recognizes the extra weight, which I'm not exactly sure whether or not I'm gonna be able to accomplish this. But they say, when you read Swell's upgrade, it says that you just let it go to 100%, but that's only the amount for the bags that are already there. I think 750 pound bags that are stock. So then after it's done, you just have to hit it again and let it go until it starts pouring out the vents. But I'm going to attempt to, first time I go out to the lake, I'm going to try to fill them all the way up and then try to reset it to where it reads that as 100%. Because I would love to be able to really dial in my wake this season to where I can just hit my preset and it knows exactly, oh, I need this side to be 80% and the other side to be 70%, without having to hit it a couple times. And obviously one of the big downsides to doing the swell upgrade as opposed to the factory upgrade is the fact that it's going to take longer to fill those bags. So that's one of the points of having those extra pumps, is that then it won't take really any longer to fill your ballast than it does without the supplemental ballast, because you've got those extra 2 pumps doing it separately from the 3 pumps that come stock. So it will take probably an extra couple minutes, is my guess, where I think it takes somewhere between 2 and 5 minutes to fill all your ballast without that extra upgrade, but then it'll probably take an extra 3 to 4 minutes to fill that extra weight. Is that a big deal to me? No. I look at ballast systems like Centurion's ram fill, and I think it's cool. It's a very cool idea. I think it seems like it works well. But do I need that extra couple minutes while the ballast fills? Not me. Not typically. I'm using that time to get ready, maybe do some stretches, but get my life jacket on, maybe my wetsuit on, get the rope set up, get into my wakeboard. So to me, it would only be a detriment to me if it was taking like 10 plus minutes to fill and or empty. So again, although I think the ram fill is a cool idea, and I think it probably works really well, not that big of a deal to me. So anyways, those are kind of all the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing. Again, I've been wanting to do this for a while. So yeah, and I am planning on selling this boat after this season. So I almost sold it last year, but decided to keep it for another year for reasons you'll understand later. Anyways, I'm gonna get to it. Today, I don't actually have the kit yet. I bought it from Swell. I don't have it in hand yet. I'm supposed to get it middle of this week. But what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna clear out all my stuff because there's a bunch of stuff in the way. It'll actually help me organize that stuff. Also, I'm gonna go ahead and open up those panels I need to get to, and I'm gonna go ahead and remove the bags that are in there. That way, when I get the setup from Swell, I can just go ahead and put it in, and it shouldn't take too much time. So this is gonna be at least a 2-part video. In fact, I might even have a 3rd part where I go dial it in at the lake at some point. But basically, but it'll mainly be a 2-part video where I first kind of get stuff out of the way and get in there, get the bags out, and then the second part will be where I install the new set. Now, I do want to point out this will not be a tutorial. I'm not telling you how to do this because my buddy Blake Wasden already did that on his channel, Sunny Days. And that's actually, I think, where I first saw this system. So thanks to him. So if you really want a step-by-step on how to do this, I'm going to suggest you go over to his channel, and I'll actually link his video in the description down below. So yeah, this is going to be more of a just showing you what I'm doing, you know, some time lapsing. I'm going to show the things that I'm doing up close as much as I can, but it's not going to be, hey, you need to do this, you need to do this, next step is this, blah blah blah. Because I'm actually going to be, you might even catch me watching Blake's video while I'm doing this here and there on my camera. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get to it. So one of the things I'll show you is, you know, like I said, there's this panel right here that I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up, and there's one back there, there's one here, one back there, and one here as well, but there's also one under here, and that's where this one is difficult to get to the front. But Blake has a cool way to get the bag up in there on that one, which I don't even think I'm going to remove the panel in here. I think I'm going to do the same method on both sides, but I am going to show you this panel. I'm just going to get under the cover here. Have my battery tender plugged in there. All right, so yeah, you see I've got a bunch of stuff in here. Yeah, so a little hard to see because I got a ton of stuff in here, but that's the panel right there. It's underneath of, you see the screws for it. There's a screw there, screw there. That's the panel that you would pick up to get to the front of the bag. So that's how far forward it comes, almost to the front. So this is the back of this chair here, and we're only like 6 inches off from that. So that's how far forward that ballast bag will come. You can see here's some of my steel shot bags here. I actually have more under this panel here near the batteries. This is where one of the batteries is. But yeah, this is that panel, and I don't think, like I said, I don't think I'm going to remove that because I don't think it's all that necessary. I think there's a vent line somewhere around here. Anyways, I just wanted to show you that. All right, so I was just to give you another reference. That's where I was. Just that panel is right behind this. Let me plug this back. And you may wonder why I'm not going to remove that panel unless I have to. I think it's just extra work in my opinion, because basically you'll see Blake shows a broom method where he uses a broom to shove that bag up in there, up in the cavity to get all the way up in there. So he uses a broom. And if it works for one side, why not do it on the other? Eliminate some work. If I decide that it's like I can't get the bag up in there far enough for some reason and I need to get that panel off, I'll do that, but I don't think I'll need to do it. All right, I had all my pile, I mean, you can see a pile of stuff up there, pile of stuff there. It's basically wetsuits and life jackets, knee brace. I don't usually have all of this on my boat, but what I do is I take it down to the shop and I hang some of it up there. That way I just always have extra stuff. You can see I have 2 steel shot bags there, and then I have one over here. So I figure those aren't in my way, but I may be taking those out. I'll have to think about that some, but I can easily move them out of the way. You can see the panel I need to remove, and then the panel there. I can easily move those bags out of the way. The other thing I need to do is, let me get a light in here. So I'm going to pull these panels out, right? But I need to get back to the back corner. So I'm going to have to remove this panel right here. And that's probably the biggest thing I'm gonna watch Blake's video back again for, is to remember how to get that out on each side. So he recently saw me back in there doing my impeller, and I didn't remove that panel. But this is a must, because the connections are right at the back corner of that. So there's the vent line. So I am gonna have to disconnect there and then reconnect to the new bags. That's one connection point. That's there and there. Alright, so you can see I removed this panel here, and that should allow me to get down right to there. I'm not sure if you can see it, and it's underneath, but there should be a pressure switch that I got to undo, and then also a nut that looks like a white nut that looks like that one right there that I got to undo. All right, these are tight quarters in here. There's no way I'm gonna be able to film this better than Blake did, but I was able to I just got the sensor connection off. That's what this is here. You just twist this here. Yeah, it's all back under here, which is a huge pain in the butt. But basically, I'm gonna have to. There's a hose clamp on this hose right here that I'm gonna have to undo, and it's upside down, which is a pain in the butt. It's way in there, so I'm gonna have to get my socket out. He suggested 5/16, so I'll get that. And then there's two nuts on these things, which I can't really get to the one for the sensor, the pressure sensor, without removing this guy. So I'm going to try to get this done first, and then I'll get to that one. But again, Blake does a way better job of showing it on his video. I don't think I can get better footage than that. I'll turn the light on here. You can actually kind of see that one over there. I'm not sure if you're seeing it right now, but I can see it. I see the sensor over there. So I don't know if you can tell how far back up in there it is. It's crazy. I don't know why they make it so hard. I don't know why they don't have this piece right here more notched back so you can get to it easier, but it is what it is. Well, Blake, I don't know how you did it so easy. I'm having a hard time getting that hose off the barb on down there, and I've already cut my fingers, my hands, because there's some screws down there, and I got big hands. So I did get the pressure switch disconnected, and I got this guy off the pressure switch. I did back it off of the hose barb as well. My thought was maybe I can somehow get inside this panel here and then pull it, and maybe it'll pop it off. But I don't know if that's gonna work, because I was only able to back this off so far before it stopped, and I think it's stopping at the hose. And it's just such a tight area in there, I just can't seem to get it. Another thought I had is, I think the new bag that I'm getting from Swell might come with the new barb in it. I might even be able to disconnect it from the bag. I just don't know if it'll go through that hole, but if it does, then I can just pull that whole thing through I can just pull the whole thing through the hole, and then have much better access to it to get it off. So that's what I'm going to check next. I'm going to go ahead and remove this panel and get under that. I answered my question, and this is unfortunate. Definitely not going to be able to pull that fitting through that hole. Might be able to help keep it steady though, or hold it steady. I can probably disconnect that from the bag. Let me look here.
I think there's a, oh yeah, see I gotta clip that zip tie and I'll have to replace that. Oh geez, I might have a problem. Whew, I just realized, I don't know if you can see all the way up in there, but there's my ballast bags, steel shop ones, and they're all the way at the front. They've been sliding around in there. I think I'm going to struggle. I'm going to have to get some sort of tool I can hook those with and pull them back. Especially on the other side. That side I've got a panel up there I can get into, right? The other side I don't. That's going to be fun.
Alright. I finally got that hose off the barb. That was a pain in the butt. I had to sit there and work it and jiggle it and yank on it so much. And I mean, look at my wrist. It really got to my wrist. Got another cut on my finger. It was hard. I think I might have started with the hardest one first, possibly, because that was my left hand and I'm right-handed. So I'm gonna jump over and do the other side. I'm probably not gonna film that one just because you know, I didn't really film much of this side. But I will film when I pull the bags out. So I'll do that here in a second. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the vent line off. I already undid this hose clamp and put it up. I'm gonna take this wiring off, but I have to get this hose off of here first. This is just like it was underneath of there, so I just wanted to show you how hard this is to get off. And this one is in a spot it's actually not bad to get to. Jeez. I feel like if I can it's actually helping, I think. Oh gosh. There we go, it's coming. Oh. So, I don't know if you could see all that, but I had to do, I mean, that's pretty hard to get off in an easy spot to get to it. But I had to do that way down in there where it's hard to get my hand to it, so it's tough. I'm gonna take this nut off here. Alright. Okay. So this side bag is ready to come out. Right. I got the right side done, or the starboard side done. Because I could use my right hand, it was a little easier. I could get a little bit more leverage, but it was still difficult. It was that's probably, I'm guessing that might be the hardest part of this whole job, is getting the hoses, those rear hoses, the fill hoses, off of the barb that's on the bag. Just because it's a tight spot, really awkward position. There are little screw heads everywhere, so my hand is all cut up. But I'm ready to take the bags out, the water bags, and then I'm going to move on to opening those panels up and trying to get my steel shop bags out of those. So I'll film a little bit of this here. And there's my little Wakely. No, not yet. Alright, let me get down in here. Alright, so all I need to do is clip the little thing here. Try to show it to you right side up while I do it. Still not sure if you'll see that, but I just gotta clip this guy. Get him out of here. Get out of my way. Alright, then I just gotta pull this guy down out of here. There we go. And then I just gotta pull the corners out. Corner guys out. Alright. You can see those guys. This guy's a little different shape, so there we go. Alright, now I should be able to fold the bag up and pull it out of here.
Oh yeah, sorry. Hard work, hard work, hard work. Oh gosh, we can do this too.
All right, got the bags out. And it wasn't as easy as I thought, but there's one there. There's one down there. They're filthy too. They have gel coat dust and fiberglass pieces all over them. So I was trying to be super careful pulling them out. I even vacuumed a little after I pulled them out. So yeah, it would be easier if it was warm because they just weren't folding really good. But yeah, now I'm gonna move on to getting my steel shot out of those, or as much as I can, because I know from looking at the other one, they're shifted all the way up in there, and I can only reach so far. I might have to get some sort of pole that has a hook on it or something to pull them back. They're 50-pound bags, so I know it's not gonna be easy. So I'll do this one as well. All right, just got done. Luckily, I was able to use my window clean squeegee thing here to reach in there and hook it under a handle like this and pull it forward, which was still kind of hard, but I was able to do it. You can see I did have 8 bags in each side in those cavities forward that slid forward. So honestly, it's probably a good thing that I'm switching it up to the waters, because then I can control how much of that weight is forward to a certain degree. You can see there's a wall there. So so yeah, anyways, I'm going to, the only other thing I'm going to do today, I'm pretty much done, is I'm just going to try to get all these steel shot bags. You can see they got all kinds of gel coat dust on them. I'm just going to try to get them down off the boat, down here on the side, out of the way. Otherwise, I'm going to leave the rest just like it is, because at least by next weekend I should be installing new bags. So that's it for this video. Make sure to stay tuned for part 2, where I get the new bags in. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you have any thoughts on this video or ideas for future videos, please leave those in the comments below. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and click on that notifications bell so you can be notified of my future videos. I'll see you next week.